All right, everyone. Today, we're going to tackle a subject that, in one way or another, touches all of us. But we're going to look at it through a new lens, what it really means to be living in the age of cancer. You've probably heard this phrase thrown around, right? The age of cancer. But it's not just some dramatic headline. It's a powerful framework from the brilliant physician and author Dr. Siddhartha Mukherjee that helps us understand a defining reality of our time. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack his core ideas to build a more accurate, more useful picture of what's going on. We're going to move past those old, simplistic metaphors about fighting a war and really get into the nitty-gritty of the biology and the society that defines this era. Okay, so first things first. Why cancer? What makes it a defining feature of our time and not just another terrible disease on a long list? Why does it feel so central to the modern human experience? Think about the way we talk about it. It's always a fight, a battle. This language paints a picture of one single unified enemy we're all fighting against. But as we're about to see, that very idea is the first thing we absolutely have to rethink. All right, let's shatter that monolith. Let's see how this one five-letter word actually hides hundreds of completely different conditions. And, getting this one thing right is the key that unlocks everything else. For a long, long time, this has been the public image, right? A single, scary, monolithic block. And that view has shaped everything, from how we fund research to how we tell stories about it. But honestly, it's a dangerously simple model. Because the reality looks a lot more like this. This list gets right to the heart of the challenge. I mean, just look at it. A brain cancer like glioblastoma has almost nothing in common, biologically, with a blood cancer like leukemia. They behave differently, they respond to different treatments, they are fundamentally different diseases that just happen to share a name. And that's the whole point, right? We're not looking for one magic silver bullet cure because there's no single target to aim at. Just accepting this complexity, really letting it sink in, is the first real step toward making actual progress against each of these unique diseases. So that leads to a pretty big question. If it's not one single enemy, why does it feel like it's everywhere now? Why does it seem more common than it ever has been before? Well, it's not just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm of these three major forces. You've got this incredible success in medicine, way better technology, and the consequences of the way we live now, all coming together at once. And this brings us to a really mind-bending idea you could call the prevalence paradox. See, for most of human history, people died young, from infections, childbirth, accidents. We've gotten so good at stopping those things that now we live long enough to face the diseases of aging. And guess what? A lot of cancers fall right into that category. So in a strange, ironic twist, cancer is so prominent partly because of our own success. Okay, so we've talked about why it's so prevalent. But to really understand what cancer is, we need to zoom in, way in. For the longest time, the focus was all on our genes, our DNA. But the new thinking says to get cancer, you have to look past the blueprint and focus on the engine of life itself. This is such a powerful way to look at it. We've been absolutely obsessed with the blueprint, our DNA, but a blueprint just sits there, right? It's just information. The real action, the living, breathing part of the story, is the builder, the cell. The cell is the machine that reads the plan and actually makes it all happen. This is a massive shift in perspective. A gene doesn't actually do anything by itself. It's the cell that reads it, uses it, and sometimes messes it up. So understanding how cells work, how they talk to each other, how they get old, how they go rogue, that is the absolute frontier of medicine right now. And, this incredible new power to understand and even manipulate our cells, well, it's not just a scientific puzzle. It opens up a whole new can of worms, ethically speaking. Just take a look at this. The exact same gene editing tech that could one day cure a heartbreaking genetic disease could, theoretically, be used to try and improve a healthy person. The same cell therapies that might repair a damaged heart could be used to try and slow down aging. That clear, bright line between fixing and enhancing, it's getting really, really blurry. And that is the question modern biology is putting squarely in front of all of us. There are no easy answers here, not at all, but it's a conversation that we absolutely have to start having, right now. So, where does all this leave us? We've got hundreds of diseases, not one. We have these deep ethical dilemmas. We have this incredibly complex cell biology. It's pretty obvious our old way of thinking, our old metaphors, they just aren't going to cut it anymore. For decades, it's been the war on cancer. And that sounds heroic, doesn't it? A single enemy, a final victory. But it's not true to the science. The new metaphor is, well, it's less dramatic, but it's way more accurate. It's about managing a chronic disease. It's about navigating, adapting, and living with a complex condition, sometimes for the rest of a person's life. What this new mindset really asks of us is to swap those over-the-top, blockbuster movie narratives for something quieter, scientific humility, and a whole lot of patience. It means accepting that progress is real, it's absolutely happening, but it's gradual, it's uneven, and it's specific to each and every one of those hundreds of different diseases. And that brings us right to our final thought. Living in the age of cancer doesn't mean we give up. Far from it. It means we get smarter. It means we embrace a more realistic, more humble, and more patient approach. It means we recognize the unbelievable complexity of life itself, and we have the patience to keep unraveling it one cell at a time. So I'll leave you with this. What part of this new way of thinking might change how you see the future of our health?